And so, what I'd like to really see that is get in line. What I did here was I prepared a statement of income and expenses for you guys and how, we recommend, or my firm recommends, allocating your income. So the really big changes that we see on here, is reducing that discretionary and then entertainment. Especially the first year where your credit card is really high, we recommend cutting that back from $5,000 to $10,000, and really controlling those miscellaneous expenses as well. Cutting that back maybe an additional $2,000. By doing that, by refinancing the mortgage and reducing your monthly payments there. Also, too, by increasing the deductibles on your car insurance, dropping the collision. What we're able to do is we're able to get you that additional insurance that you really need, both disability and the life insurance. The other thing too is when we looked at that chart, you guys should be saving 12% per year, and we're only looking at, like I said, less than 2. So that needs to change. So what I want to see is I want to see more money going just into your regular savings account to boost that, as well as saving a little bit more for retirement, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. So just in a quick allocation, putting $2,000 more per year into your money market account. We're going to talk about a retirement account for Carl. Carl looking to put about $4,200 a year into that. Excuse me. And so then this is the pie chart here that we'd like to see. And the big thing, so I have the amortization table as well for the new mortgage. Looking just like I said at that average rate of 5.25%, also to refinancing that secondary mortgage, and I have the amortization schedule for paying on that credit card. So on here I allocated a little bit more than $1,000 per month to pay off that credit card, which would knock that out in less than 18 months. And that's going to really change your financial picture to get that credit card paid off. Yeah, we talked a little bit about savings before. I noticed that inside your savings account, you guys only have about $8,000. We really need to increase that. You want to have somewhere between 3 to 6 months of expenses. Right now, you guys have less than 2. So $2,000 going into that is going to help with it. And once that credit card is paid off, we can really start allocating much more money into your emergency fund, which is at 3 to 6 months, as well as talking a little bit more about adding money into retirement savings. Oh, we're on the topic of budget. Carl, I know you do want that new car. Just considering how much debt you guys have, I don't think it's a wise decision to buy a $35,000 car. I think at this time, or a truck, $35,000 truck. I think at this time, really looking to maybe lease something and keeping your payments down to an absolute minimum makes sense. In this budget, it worked out to be about $300 a month for that lease payment. If you do need a truck for work, maybe that's something you can discuss with your partners, and maybe they can supplement, or maybe that's something you can expense through the business if you do need a truck. But considering your position there, I think a light duty or a car would really fit your plan much better. So, talking about savings and talking about retirement savings, I have a chart here. The chart here really shows where you should be in saving and accumulating for retirement. And so we have, how much money you're making, 100,000. If we average out to your ages 30 or 32, you're 29, means that you guys should have one-time salary, saved for retirement. And we're not close to that. You have about $3,000 in a savings account. I know you do have some money inside your business. And you have some equity inside there, but you also have a huge amount of debt on the business, $600,000. So, really just looking at cash and mutual funds and investments, and you guys aren't close to this number, so we need to start to approach that number. So, one of the things that you guys provided for me very nicely was a risk objectives and resource information. You guys filled this out for us. This really helps me understand the type of investor that you are. Before we run into this, what I wanted to do is just do a quick economic update. When I do an economic update, what I like to do is look at several areas. I like to look at growth, jobs, profits inside, American companies. We talk a little bit about inflation rates, risks we see to the economy, and also to investment themes. Growth this year in the U.S. economy, when we started the year, we think it was going to be somewhere between 1.5% to 2%. Nice, steady growth, not as fast as we would like to be growing coming out of recession, but not bad. More recently, we're watching growth pick up. We think it's going to grow about 2.5%. So, it's not something to be having a party about, but we're very happy about nice, consistent growth. The unemployment picture is getting better. We see unemployment is now falling to 7.5%. In April, we added 176,000 new jobs, which is not, great job growth, but it's positive. Positive is good. Right now, when you look at corporate profits are almost at a 60-year high. When we look at an after-tax corporate profit as a percentage of GDP, right now it's about 9.2%, which is really wide. It's one of the things one of the reasons why we really like owning company stock. Is companies making a lot of money, they have a lot of cash flow coming in. So profits have been a nice positive. Also, too, companies reporting earnings last quarter. Most beat expectations, about 63% beat expectations last quarter. So that was also kind of a nice positive surprise to the market. One of the reasons why we see it coming up. Inflation's been great. Inflation's been very low. It's been about 1.7%. Happy with low inflation. We don't think interest rates are really going to increase in the near term, but we are concerned long term about interest rates, and we're very concerned about clients owning too much bonds. What happens is that when interest rates go up, the value of your portfolio of bonds is going to go down. So the federal government is talking about augmenting their what we call quantitative easing. We're not sure when that's going to happen, but we're expecting sometime in the next 6 to 18 months for them to really start changing that, and that's when we're going to start to see long-term interest rates move. Risks we see, to the economy, it's financial turmoil caused by Europe. Europe has a lot of structural issues that's going to be around for a while. Higher oil prices due to geopolitical issues in the Middle East, that's something that's always there. That's always a risk. With the natural gas boom that we're having here in the U.S. And more oil getting produced around the world, not just in the Middle East, I think is kind of lessening that. We talked a little about interest rate risk. An over-easy Fed keeping long-term interest rates too low for too long could create a credit bubble, which we're starting to see forming. So risks aren't as bad as they once were. Investment themes, we really like equities. We think that they're attractively priced, especially we like growth cyclical stocks right now. We're expecting to really see them do well over the next 6 to 18 months. And if you're going to be buying bonds, we want to be buying the lower credit quality, higher yielding bonds is really where we see the value, not so much inside treasuries. And we love, home ownership. We're starting to finally start seeing home prices rebound. So hopefully we're going to start seeing your price, the home of your, the value of your home start going up. All right, so we got the risk objectives and resource information here. When I went through this, you're a pretty conservative investor given your age. So it came out to be what we would consider to be a moderate portfolio. So with that moderate portfolio, it's when it's roughly 50% stocks, 50% bonds. It's something we can keep today, but like I said, we're not expecting a lot of growth out of bonds, and we're expecting actually negative performance and negative real yield out of bonds going forward. So I think that the next time we sit down, we want to have a little bit greater conversation about risk. And maybe increasing and understanding really where the risks are. What I did for you guys is I put together. Here's the investment policy statement. What the investment policy statement is, it talks about how we're going to manage your money. And this is actually really goes to the retirement account that we're going to open up for Carl, because the money that you have is inside your 401k. This talks about the long-term asset allocation, the structure of the portfolio, and the selection of the investment managers inside there, so the different funds that you see inside there. And just how we're going to continue to monitor and make changes to that portfolio. So, right here, that recommended portfolio, like I said, is that moderate portfolio, which is roughly 50 stocks, 50 bonds inside here. So, I'm going to give this to you. we need you to sign that before we leave today. Thanks a lot, Carl. So Carl, the retirement account I'd like to see you open is actually, it's called a SEP IRA. It's something that's really good for business owners like yourself. But it's not something that you can do without your partner, so it's a larger conversation we have to have with it. One of the things I really like about the SEP IRA is that it avoids some payroll taxes. Payroll taxes for you, it's over 15%. So if we're able to save on that, I think it's a permanent savings, not just a tax deferral. If your partners don't want to contribute or don't want to start a profit sharing plan at work, then I think we go with the Roth IRA. Roth IRA uses after-tax money. Money goes into that, grows tax-free for retirement, and it's tax-free when you take it out. Mary has a tax-deferred 401k plan, so this would be a nice complement. So you have some money that's tax-free, some money that's tax-deferred. What I talked about putting $4,200 in there. Mary, you're currently putting about $1,900, $1,950 into that per year. So what I did was I ran a scenario to see how much money we really need to be saving annually to have a successful retirement. And I think they actually even shortchange the numbers on this a little bit. So instead of showing the full table here, this chart really illustrates it the best. It shows that if we don't really increase that more than what you're currently saving, it shows that you're going to run out of money in retirement about 71. Considering you guys are looking to retire at age, 62 and 65, doesn't sound so good. The blue line here shows if you would have actually increased that, instead of saving about $6,000 a year, we're saving 16, which I know it sounds like a big number, but I think that's something that we can definitely do inside your budget. You both are expecting to see some nice raises over the next couple of years. And once we get that credit card paid off, it's going to free up a lot of additional cash for you. So on this chart here, you can see if we're doing $16,000 a year, retiring at age 65 for Carl, we say that carries us all the way through. And it sees it runs out of money at age 93. Typically, what I like to see is this line never hit the bottom and continue out. So it gives us a little bit more margin of error. Just in case markets fluctuate a little bit more, we don't expect to see the average rate of return. So, in a quick summary, from today, what we really need to focus more on than anything else is that insurance piece. So what we need to do is we need to get you guys, physicals, to get you guys insured for that $500,000 policy each. Carl, we need to get you the disability policy. Mary, we need to work with your HR department, get you the additional $325,000 of insurance to work for the extra $100 a year. We need to contact your homeowner's insurance, and we need to increase that from an HO2 to an HO3. We need to call your auto insurance, and we need to increase the deductible, and we also need to drop the collision off yours. Then we also have to, sit down with the lender. We have to talk with your lender and see if we can't work out a better deal than what you're currently getting. That's hundreds of dollars per month we're able to save you if we can drop that rate from 7.5 to 5.25. That's huge. It's going to save you tens, if not $100,000 over the 30-year mortgage. I know you guys have paid off some of that mortgage. I still want to go with the 30-year mortgage and free up some additional cash flow for you guys. You guys can always pay it off sooner, but I want to give you guys a little bit more flexibility there. So here's a page that kind of talks about the implementation. So what we really need to do now, and then we also have to speak with your business associates, the partners, see about the SEP plan, see if that's going to work for them and if it makes sense for the company. I really think it does. And the last piece, when we sit down, we really need to talk to them about a buy-sell agreement. Buy-sell agreements are really critically important to companies like yourself, where it's a small ownership structure where you have 3 partners. God forbid something happens to one of you, how are you going to pay off, the family, should something happen. Right now, it doesn't look like there's enough cash in a business to do that, so we usually fund that with life insurance, so it's critically important. I know you guys have to run, we're a little bit over time, so I really appreciate the time you spent with me today, and we'll be in touch very shortly, set up those medical exams, and make the changes that are necessary. Do you guys have any questions for me? Oh, great. Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys.